Hi, you guys. I'm so tired. Completely exhausted. I wanted to switch it up tonight because I don't think I can lift my 50-pound dictionary. I can, but I'm just tired. And I found this little book. It's the Tao of Pooh. The Tao of Pooh. I love this book. I have not picked this up in, I don't know, 15 years. And there's all these little dog-eared pages. So I'm just going to open it up and read from a dog-eared page. Let's see. I'm just looking. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what this is, but a saying from the area of Chinese medicine would be appropriate to mention here. I don't know what here is because I don't know what just happened. One disease, long life. No disease, short life. Okay? In other words, those who know what's wrong with them and take care of themselves accordingly will tend to live a lot longer than those who consider themselves perfectly healthy and neglect their weaknesses. So in that sense, at least, a weakness of some sort can do you a big favor if you acknowledge that it's there. The same goes for one's limitations, whether Tiggers know it or not, and Tiggers usually don't. That's the trouble with Tiggers, you know. They can do everything. Very unhealthy. Yes, I have Tiggered a few times myself. Once you face and understand your limitations, you can work with them, instead of having them work against you and get in your way, which is what they do when you ignore them, whether you realize it or not. And then you will find that, in many cases, your limitations can be your strengths. For example, when Owl's house fell down, who was able to escape even though there was a heavy branch across the door and the only way out was through the letter slot? Piglet, the very small animal. All right, let's see what this next one is. Let's see if it... Oh, this is good. Oh, ow. Sooner or later, we are bound to discover some things about ourselves that we don't like. But once we see they're there, we can decide what we want to do with them. Do we want to get rid of them completely? Change them into other things? Or use them in beneficial ways? The last two approaches are often especially useful, since they avoid head-on conflict and therefore minimize struggle. Also, they allow those transformed characteristics to be added to the list of things we have that help us out. In a similar manner, instead of struggling to erase what are referred to as negative emotions, we can learn to use them in positive ways. We could describe the principle like this. While pounding on the piano keys may produce noise, removing them doesn't exactly further the creation of music. The principles of music and living aren't all that different, we think. Wouldn't you say, Pooh? Say what? Said Pooh, opening his eyes. Music and living? The same thing, said Pooh. That's what we thought. So rather than work against ourselves, all we need to do in many cases is to point our weaknesses or unpleasant tendencies in a different direction than we have been. What else do we dog-ear in this book? Interesting. The Wu Wei. Now we come to what could be called the most characteristic element of Taoism in action. In Chinese, it is known as Wu Wei. It is also the most characteristic element of Pooh in action. In English, it is not known as much of anything in particular. We believe that it's time that someone noticed it and called it something, so we will call it the Wu Wei. works for me. Literally, Wu Wei means without doing, causing, or making. This is the universe giving me a smackdown, because it's time. But practically speaking, that's hilarious. I just made it about me. Never mind. But practically speaking, it means without meddlesome, combative, or egotistical effort. This is like being held down and tickled. Okay, I get it. Stop. It seems rather significant that the character Wei developed from the symbols for a clawing hand and a monkey, since the term Wu Wei means no going against the nature of things, no clever tampering, no monkeying around. The efficiency of Wu Wei is like that of water flowing over and around the rocks in its path, not the mechanical, straight-line approach that usually ends up short-circuiting natural laws, but one that evolves from an inner sensitivity to the natural rhythm of things. When we learn to work with our own inner nature, and with the laws operating around us, and with the natural laws operating around us, we reach the level of Wu Wei. Then we work with the natural order of things and operate on the principle of minimal effort. Since the natural world follows that principle, it does not make mistakes. Mistakes are made or imagined by humans, the creatures with the overloaded brain, who separate themselves from the supporting network of natural laws by interfering and trying too hard. Not like Pooh, the most effortless bear we've ever seen. Just how do you do it, Pooh? Do what? Asked Pooh. Become so effortless. I don't do much of anything, he said. But all those things of yours get done. They just sort of happen. Wait a minute. That reminds me of something from the Tao Te Ching, I said, reaching for a book. Here it is, chapter 37. Translated, it reads something like, Tao does not do, but nothing is not done. That sounds like a riddle, said Pooh. It means that Tao doesn't force or interfere with things, but lets them work in their own way to produce results naturally. Then whatever needs to be done is done. I see, said Pooh. In Chinese, the principle would be Wei Wu, Wei Wu Wei, do without doing. That means that things happen by themselves, spontaneously. Oh, I see, said Pooh. Oh my God, it's gonna make me cry. I think because this is what I need right now. Isn't that funny? Anyway, I hope your day was good. Good night. Be kind to yourself.